Hello everyone and welcome to another art tutorial. Today I'll be walking you through painting this simple beginner friendly Halloween haunted house. You will only need a couple of supplies for this one. I'll go through the exact materials I'll be using so you can use the same or similar paper, watercolours and brushes. I have a size 0 Pro Art brush, my size 2 Winsor & Newton round flat brush, the 1/2 inch oval wash brush from Princeton and the 3/4 inch square wash brush by Princeton. The paper is the Canson Mixed Media A4 paper cut down to an A5 size, and 7 colours from the Winsor & Newton watercolour palette: the indigo, lamp black, Chinese white, viridian hue, sepia brown, cadmium yellow, cadmium orange. You'll also need a bit of tissue, pot of water and a pencil for sketching. Right, let's start our sketch. Start with drawing in a curved shape for the hill that the house will sit on top of, and draw a central pathway that will lead to the door. I think it will look good for the house to have different sections to give the effect of a big mansion style haunted house. So on the left and right, draw separate towers with a roof on each. And then in the middle of the towers, draw another section with a flat roof and an arched window. On the wider tower, let's draw some long separate windows. Add some other windows throughout the building and then some tiled details on the pointed roof. I'm going to add a little side area at the left side. Once you've drawn your house, let's move on to the spooky trees on either side. The crescent moon and the gravestones on the graveyard. I'm going to draw some steps on the pathway and finally some stars in the night sky. We are now ready to start painting. Grab your blue to paint the first base layer on the night sky. Once that's dry, we will create the effect of a central glow behind the house. To make that effect, you will need to get some black and blue mix right in the corners and almost paint a circular shape surrounding the house as I'm doing here. And just keep adding more and more dark mix right up in the corners, blending inward and making sure that the centre remains a light wash. Then we can paint in the green on the grass and the yellow for the path. Now for this part, you can either paint each window separately with the orange or paint the whole house in orange. I've decided to go with painting all the house in orange. Once all of that has dried, we can go back in with some more dark mix to really make the night sky stand out. Keep adding water to blend that deep colour into the light areas, adding bit by bit until you are happy with it. Now we are ready for the next part. Start to paint in the left, right and top central parts of the house, but make sure that the windows remain orange. Mix some white and black together to make a grey and continue to paint the rest of the house and each roof. Grab your brown, paint both the spooky trees. With your smallest brush, let's paint in all the window panes and neaten up the edges. Next, let's paint some really intricate details with our size 0 brush or the smallest brush that you have to hand on the arched window at the top of the house. This part is very fiddly, so try to be as neat as you possibly can. And then for this one, we will do a more simple style for the arched window on the roof. Lastly, painting across at the very top. Moving back to our grey mix, paint in each gravestone on the graveyard. And then paint in some tile details on the roof. We can do a rounded tile on this one and then some striped lines on this one. I'm going to add some tiny little brick details at the front door. Then let's do some more rounded tiles on the lower part of the house and some square tiles on the flat roof. With your white watercolour, paint a window on the door and outline the rooftop. Time to outline the gravestones. I'll add edging to each to give the effect of a 3D gravestone that's at its side. and with a pigmented brown, paint some tree bark texture. Painting some orange leaves on the trees, starting with an orange and then a mix of white and orange to make them stand out. And to outline our other tree too. And then with an orangey and yellow mix, draw the steps in. And paint the last of the windows at the front to show a nice glow. Let's finish the stairs off, and don't worry if you're a little bit messy with this because we want to make it look like a bit of a spooky, spindly staircase. Now grab the green and paint blades of grass dotted around on the graveyard, at the trees, gravestones and sporadically placed in between. Let's finish off the windows with our small brush where we think touch-ups might be needed and to finish off those previously painted windows. I've decided to add a bit of shading to the staircase for some depth. And I've actually just grabbed my white jelly roll pen for drawing a crescent moon and stars, but if you want to paint it in with white watercolour then that's okay too. The jelly roll pen stands out more on the page, so if you have got one of these, it may work better for this. I'm going to add a couple of dotted stars too, just to keep it a little bit different. I've drawn a bone shape for the handle of the door, and I'm going to draw in some highlights on the roof and windows shining from the moonlight. I like the idea of painting in some brick details on the black painted areas of the house. I think it really finishes it off. As this is a haunted house, I thought it would be really fun to add some tiny little ghosts. Starting with adding a spooky swing on the left tree, and then a ghost in one of the windows, another behind a tree, and then the last one sat on the swing. Aw, I think they look cute. How did you all get on? What extra ghosts and ghouls have you added to your painting? I hope you've really enjoyed painting along today. If you did, please hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy painting.